I was 30 seconds away from saying I do when my stepmother stood up in the third row. She was holding a glass of red wine. And she was smiling. "Stop this wedding," she said. Her voice cut through the chapel like broken glass. "This girl is not who she says she is." My fiancé, Marcus, turned to look at me. 200 guests went silent. My hand started shaking so hard I dropped my bouquet. Linda, my stepmother, walked down the aisle in her navy dress like she was the bride. She'd raised me since I was 7. After my mom died, she was all I had. Or so I thought. "Tell them, Rebecca," she said, stopping 5 feet from the altar. "Tell them about the money you stole. Tell them about the lies." I felt my throat close. This wasn't happening. This couldn't be happening. Marcus whispered, "Becca, what is she talking about?" Linda opened a manila envelope. She pulled out bank statements. Medical bills. Documents I'd never seen before. "This woman," she said to the crowd, "stole $40,000 from me over the past 2 years. She's been draining my accounts. I raised her. I loved her. And this is how she repays me." The room exploded into whispers. I heard someone say gold digger. Someone else said disgusting. My father, Linda's husband, stood up from the front row. "Linda, please. Not here. No, David. She needs to be exposed." Linda's eyes were wet with fake tears. "I've been covering for her because I loved her. But I can't watch her trick this poor man into marriage." Marcus stepped back from me. Just one step. But it felt like a canyon opening up. "That's not true," I finally said. My voice came out broken. I would never. But Linda had evidence. Papers. Numbers. Dates. And I had nothing but my word. The officiate asked if we needed to pause the ceremony. Marcus said yes. My bridesmaids, my 3 best friends since college, were staring at me like I'd grown a second head. Linda touched Marcus's shoulder. "I'm so sorry, son. You deserve better than this." Then she walked out of the chapel. And my wedding collapsed like a house of cards. The wedding was postponed. Postponed. Not cancelled, because Marcus said he needed time to process. But I knew what that meant. I spent 3 days locked in my apartment, going through every bank statement, every transaction, every piece of evidence Linda had shown. And that's when I found it. The signature on the withdrawal slips wasn't mine. It was close. Really close. But the loop on the R was different. The slant on the C was off. Someone had forged my signature. I called my bank. They pulled the security footage. The withdrawals were made in person, but the person wore a baseball cap and sunglasses. The timestamps were all on weekday mornings, when I was at work. Then I remembered something. 2 years ago, Linda had asked to borrow my driver's license. She said she needed it to add me as an authorized user on her insurance policy. I'd thought it was weird, but she was my stepmother. I trusted her. She'd practice my signature. She'd planned this. But why? I called my dad. He didn't answer. I called 5 times. Nothing. So I drove to their house. Linda was in the living room when I walked in. She looked surprised, then angry. "You shouldn't be here," she said. "Where's Dad?" "Out." I threw the bank statements on the coffee table. "You forged my signature. You stole from yourself and framed me." Linda's face didn't change. "Prove it." "I have the security footage request pending. I have a handwriting expert ready to testify. I have timestamps showing I was at work during every single withdrawal." I stepped closer. "But what I don't have is a reason. Why would you do this to me?" For a long moment, she just stared at me. Then she laughed. It was a cold sound. Empty. Your mother, Linda said slowly, left everything to you. Did you know that? Her life insurance. Her savings. Her family jewelry. All of it in a trust that unlocks when you get married. My blood went cold. $270,000, Linda continued. And when you marry Marcus, you get it all. But your father and I? We've been drowning in debt for 3 years. Medical bills. Bad investments. We're losing the house. So you tried to destroy my wedding. I tried to stop you from marrying someone you've only known for a year. Linda's voice rose. That money should be ours. I raised you. I fed you. I paid for your college. Your mother's money should have gone to your father, to us. Mom wanted me to have it. Your mother was selfish. Linda shouted. Just like you. The door opened behind me. My father walked in holding groceries. He saw us and froze. Dad, I said. Did you know? His face told me everything. He knew. 3 weeks later, I stood at the same altar in the same chapel. Marcus was beside me. We'd talked for hours after I showed him everything, the evidence, the forged signatures, the confession I'd recorded on my phone at Linda's house. He believed me. He stayed. But the guest list was different this time. Linda and my father sat in the very back row. They'd been required to attend as part of the agreement. You see, I didn't call the police. I didn't press charges. Instead, I called a lawyer. And I made Linda an offer. She could either face criminal prosecution for fraud, forgery, and identity theft, minimum 3 years in prison, or she could sign a legally binding agreement. The agreement was simple: she would publicly apologize at my wedding. She would pay restitution for the emotional distress. And she would permanently relinquish any claim to my mother's trust fund or estate. Oh, and one more thing. I donated my mother's entire trust, all $270,000, to a foundation that helps children who've lost parents. Every single penny. Linda's face when the lawyer read that clause was something I'll remember forever. She wanted the money so badly she destroyed my wedding. She forged documents. She lied to 200 people. She manipulated my father. And in the end, she got nothing. As I said my vows to Marcus, I looked back at Linda one time. She was crying. Real tears this time. My father looked broken. Part of me felt sorry for them. Part of me always would, because they were my family once. But the bigger part of me felt free. Because I realized something that day: family isn't about blood or obligation. It's about who shows up when everything falls apart. It's about who believes you when the evidence is against you. It's about who chooses you, again and again. Marcus squeezed my hand. My real bridesmaids, the ones who never doubted me, were crying happy tears. And when the officiate said, "You may kiss the bride," I kissed my husband in front of everyone who mattered. Linda had tried to take the happiest day of my life. So I took away the one thing she wanted more. And I gave it to people who actually needed it.